Namaste. In our metal season, we are going to be doing twists. We saw twists in other seasons, but these would be more lower body twists. So we're going to be doing some revolved standing poses. So in this video, we're going to be doing our revolved triangle. So Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. If you're like me, with some hips that are open, but maybe some challenges, and really about low back too. Low back and hamstrings. So my hamstrings are tight, but they're not too bad. But I have just a really big tightness in my low back. So revolved triangle can be quite challenging for me. So I'm going to do the best I can in a demonstration for you today. Using a block, I'm going to have my block ready, and I want to be in a position where I'm going to revolve towards you, towards the camera in this particular movement. So we can always extend, our arms out, but in this video, I'm going to have to go the other way, just so my back will be towards you for just a moment. So extending out, hands on hips, rotating the toe in. So here's my left. I'm going to rotate my right, and I'm going to turn my hips so they're square. So with our other triangle Trikonasana, our hips are kind of more open to the wide side. So here, hips are square to the shorter end of the mat. So here at the top of my mat. So legs, that's just going to be up to you, how wide, how more narrow. But, taking this stance, I know, after doing revolve, this is generally the stance I want to take. Now that back heel, the back foot is on a 45. A question I get often, do your heels need to line up? When you look at the books and all the textbooks, it's like, yes, they need to line up. But that's all going to depend on, again, the hips, the low back. You might want to work the feet a little bit wider. So not necessarily do your heels need to line up. But what you do want to have square are your hips. So with hands on hips, so when you have a partner or you have someone to help you to adjust, they can adjust your hips. So here we're going to do a lot of self-adjusting. So hips are square, hips or hands remain on the hips, and just pulling back. So I want to pull my shoulders back. And there's a scissoring action. My feet are pulling towards each other, just towards each other. So legs are really, really active. If you find it a challenge, you can also do it. I can also do it this way with my heel against, say, a wall or a baseboard, just so you feel grounded in that back foot. Oftentimes I will see students lift the heel. So that helps to really ground. Again, whether you have a partner or if you're alone, again, use your wall if you need that grounding action for that back foot. So we go back to the position. Now I know with my hips and low back that I generally use a block. So you can place that block on the inside or the outside of the foot. For this demonstration, I'm going to have it on the outside of the foot. So I'm going to place my block right there. So right outside that foot, I'm going to square my hips, again, drawing the feet towards each other and the inner legs in. So legs really, really active. Make sure we're not locking. So this is me locking my knees. So I keep a little flex in my thighs, keep the kneecaps lifting up. So when I come forward, I want to create length in the belly, length in the side body, and keeping those hips, because that hip likes to push out. I want to keep my hips as level as possible. I'm going to revolve, so I'm going to keep my right hand right here in my hip. I'm going to take my left arm and extend out. So I have the mirror behind you, behind the camera. So I'm going to watch myself in the mirror and make sure that my hip doesn't drop, nor do my hips shift. So sometimes taking your hand right to the sacrum, just for that self-adjustment. So I'm going to have my hand to my sacrum. I'm going to lift and lengthen out from the pelvis out to that extended hand, and then create almost that revolved here. So I'm going to revolve from my belly and not from my arm. So I revolve from my belly. I start to come forward, and I place my hand. I'm going to take it right there. So my shoulder's right over my wrist. And then if my hip dropped, I'm going to recorrect that with my feet to correct my hips. And then revolve and open up into revolved triangle pose. To come out, hand on the hip, bend the knee, stretch up, open. I'll turn around. That's revolved triangle, Parivrtta Trikonasana. Namaste.